Call this meeting of the POA Board of Directors to order. And I want to welcome everybody to the POA Board monthly meeting. I'm just going to go through a couple of things. As we've announced previously, we are welcoming property owners to attend in person up to the room capacity. And we are still live streaming and recording the meeting. So thanks to all of you for attending today, whether in person or via live stream. Quick reminder on our process. As the board works through each agenda item, I will ask the board for comments and questions first. Once that is complete, I will ask for comments or questions from those in attendance or those on the live stream. If an item is to be voted on, there will be a request for a motion and a second from the board, followed by board discussion, and prior to the actual vote, I will ask for audience comments. To facilitate audience participation, I ask that you step to the front table, identify yourself, and use the microphone so that your comments can be picked up on the live stream. Comments from live stream participants will be relayed to those in the room by the POA communications personnel. When we get to the part of the meeting titled Other on the agenda, I will first ask board members if they have any other non-agenda items to discuss. And once that is completed, I will ask members of the audience if they have other items that they wish to address to the board. So with that, let's get started. I need a motion to approve the August 18th, 2021 TVPOA Board meeting minutes as presented. So moved. Steve? Second. Marty? Changes? All in favor? 7-0. I'm keeping score here. Next agenda item is the CEO's operations update. And just as a reminder, earlier this year, the board asked the CEO to do a quarterly operations update. Additionally, we have asked him to give an update to that report each month between the quarterly reports. Today's report is on an update on activities since the August report. So Winston, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, board. In the finance world, the budget process has started. Managers are meeting with finance staff, getting their operational and capital budgets and maintenance items lined up for their 22 budget. That's taking place. Kevin will cover more of that later in his presentation. In the HR world, we are seeing continued increased competition in hiring employees from surrounding employers. Not exactly, I can explain why, but it's very difficult shortage of good candidates to fill our positions. Currently, we're short 7 golf maintenance workers, short 3 public works employees, and 1 short in recreation. This is a continuous battle that we've seen since last year, and it's just wanted to make you aware of that. In the IT world, we're in the process of changing out our Wi-Fi systems in the various operations throughout the POA. They're going with a new FortiClient system. The reason for the change is these are more unified, they're more manageable systems. Reliability is better, and it also has increased security. Security, as you all remember from earlier in the year, had some increased visibility due to what we saw it happen to other corporations in the United States. Marketing is once again had another very busy month. The discovery request for last month, 105. In 2019, it was 93, and as you'll notice, I'm not comparing to last year because of our COVID exception. Completed tours were 80. In 2019, that number was 75. The Welcome Center traffic was a little less than 800, whereas in 2019, we had more traffic at 980. So we've seen a little bit of a decrease there month to month compared to 2019. August leads were up 546 for the month compared to August 2019 at 528. And this was a most notable increase. The yacht club, or the year-to-date POA lots are 197. This time last year, it was 67, and also in 2019, it was around 90. So we've continued to see strong marketing and real estate movement here in the POA. And in conjunction with that, ACC is continuing with strong permitting activity. We are averaging 32 house permits per month when I looked at all 8 months of the year. 257 have been permitted so far through August, and currently there are 292 homes under construction. The CAF fee generated by this building and permitting has generated $166,000 so far year to date in 21. So in the reports of marketing and ACC, you can see that the strong building and real estate trend is continuing. Golf is still very busy. They're ahead of pace of where they were last year at this time. Fall is an extremely popular time for golf, so we don't expect any slowdowns in the coming months. We still have fairly long days. We're having cooler temperatures, and that's a perfect combination to get out and play golf, and therefore September, October, the courses will be extremely busy. Golf play is showing strong numbers with 74,600 rounds. Last year at this time, we were at 68,000 rounds. The new golf carts arrived last week. These carts are the ones that were badly needed to replace the Yamaha carts that were worn out, had a lot of difficulty with. These new club car units have some additional technology that Chris and the golf staff is setting up and programming and working with Club Cars IT, and this will enhance our golf experience on the course. So this is definitely a step up in the golf operation. The golf maintenance crews just completed fall aerification. They use the dry jet equipment on our condition. The healing is in process and things go well, and the overall condition of the courses is very, very good. So we have, not to jinx ourselves, but we have made it through hot summer and have not taken too big a setback on any kind of damage. Financially, golf is doing very well. They're $479,000 better in budget. A lot of that comes from increased golf revenue versus what they had budgeted, and then also savings to budget versus employee salaries and wages. In the rec world continues to rebound from the effects of COVID. Household memberships are 943 versus 715 this time last year. As y'all remember, we due to the COVID effect, rec was probably the hardest hit, and we took it on the chin there, but 943 versus 715 in the household memberships is a good rebound. The individual memberships are at 650, and that versus 432 this time last year, so they're rebounding nicely too. And they're approximately 25 greater than the 2019 high of 628. So we might be seeing a little bit of a shift in our membership percentages from household to individual. Facility usage continues to be strong. Classes are very strong and are running at capacity on many of the classes. And the classes at the Wellness Center in Chota and Kahiti are in big demand, so obviously Simon and crew are putting together programs that are appealing to the property owners. Financially, rec is beating budget by $189,000 due to stronger than budgeted revenues. I think we're probably rebounding a little faster than we had anticipated. Next is Public Works. Public Works has got many projects on. I'm not going to go through the litany of all the projects they got going, but they are finishing the street patching, crack seal in preparation for the asphalt sealing that is coming up that's referred to as PMM. That's polymer modified master seal. So they're prepping for that work. Also, they're doing shoulder work. They're pulling the shoulders in preparation for the work that's going to be happening. Installation of the new docks at Tenacity The new location is in Tenacity, be called the P-Dock, and it will begin in September. The process will take some of the parking lot, which will be used for staging of material, but that should only last for about a week. Also, the new breakwater material is in, the wave eater as it's called. It's been delivered and is at storage at Public Works right now. And installation for that piece of equipment is mid-October. Another project I want to advise the board that Public Works has undertaken is not one that has a lot of notoriety, but is a project that is led by the team down there, is to create an in-house street sign shop. They took a portion of one of their pole barns and closed it, poured concrete floors, ran electricity to it, and have acquired the material to generate and manufacture our own street signs. The project itself should save us about $10,000 a month, but more importantly, we get our signs faster and we are able to replace worn and I call bad-looking signs or worn-out signs quicker. It'll save us. We've been spending an average of $15,000 a year. We think we can do it material costs, do it in-house for $5,000 a year. And the way Clayton has put the facility together and the way he will run the street sign shop is when we have down weather and they can't do their normal jobs due to weather and so forth, they will work in production at that location. So that's another little improvement, that's a little change in the public works world to try to better the operation and to allow us, or to give us a better first image and better looking street signs. And last of my report is food service. AWE has reported another strong sales. On the POA side of our finances, because we contract out food service except for Kahiti, we're running $178,000 better than budget. And I just want to remind everyone on our expenses when I say for food service, and then I talk about we contract that out. We still maintain the facilities, the yacht club, the Telco clubhouse building, and the Tenacity clubhouse building. Kahiti Clubhouse is doing very well. At that location, it's different than the other three. We run the entire food service operation. The Kahiti Clubhouse operation, we're only running a $29,000 subsidy, and that is much better than budgeted. They're beating budget in that area by $56,000. So Carla, tell them to keep whining and dining. Any questions on any of that?
No questions for Winston?
That's my report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda would be the certification of board candidates for the upcoming election, and the nominating committee chair, Marty Yinkrow, will address that.
Okay, so the nomination committee met and recommend to certify the following 4 candidates: John Arguelles, Bob Brunetti, Walt Cook, and Hussein Najim for the 2021 POA board election. I guess I'll put that in.
So there's a motion that, for the board to consider, to accept the report of the board's nominating committee certifying candidacy of John Arguelles, Bob Brunetti, Walt Cook, and Hussein Najim for the 2021 POA board election. Do I have the motion?
That would be my motion. Right?
Your motion.
Second.
Second. Any conversation?
So I'd also like to add that we addressed the sufficiency of the number of candidates, and that since we have 4 running for 2 positions, and all 4 are duly qualified, we feel that we do not need to seek any further candidates.
Okay. All in favor of the motion? 7-0.
And also, I believe I see at least 2 of the candidates here, Walt Cook and
Yes.
Hussein Najim.
And their election is to take the seats of, for everybody that doesn't know, who? Johnson and Johnson.
The J&Js.
J&J.
Not to be confused with the vaccine.
No,
Okay.
Squibb, Pfizer, none
So
of
in a
those.
related item, the Board Election Committee has also met, and the question annually comes up whether the POA will vote the POA-owned lots. The committee was unanimous in the motion that we're about to make, which is to approve the unanimous recommendation of the POA Board's Election Committee to not vote the POA-owned lots in the 2021 board election.
Motion
Pat?
made.
Second?
Sue.
Carla?
Oh, doggone.
It's like a competition, you guys.
I'm rooting for Sue.
You got to get out there. you know.
Pat keeps this going around so it's distributed evenly.
So,
Distribute the
are
wealth.
there any comments on that? All in favor? 7-0. Okay, and Carla, I believe this was your request. You asked for Beth Kuberka to inform the board about the recent Telco Village broadcasting remodeling job. So here we are. Oh, wow.
All right. Okay. I tried to get Kevin to do this, but he used that he's working in the studio back there and he can't. Oh,
No,
there
he's
he
he's
is.
Well,
running circles around
yes.
the room.
Oh,
That's how he works his remote. Right.
yeah.
All right. First of all, back at last budget season, this was presented to you all for our ideas on what we needed to do at the studio. This was the floor plan, and everything on this has been done except the one thing, which was up here at the very top, cut the opening for the server. We decided not to do that at this time, but everything else has been complete, and we'll go into a little more detail in just a second. This has never been done in the studio since TVB has moved in there, which was, gosh, 18 years ago, whenever we built that facility. One of the main things we want to do is a new lighting system, which has been ordered. Studio facility refurbished, which was creating an actual control room with new flooring, create the option where we can have actually 3 different sets in the area, redesign and organize the editing office and playout server, and our budget for that was $19,000. In the studio remodel, we did redesign the editing area and redesign the studio. We are in the process of upgrading the lighting system. The new flooring has been installed. We've painted the walls, and we have set up the new set design and ordered some of the furniture so far. But with COVID, everything is majorly back ordered, so we try to find things that were in stock, and some things we'll have to wait a little bit on. Another big purchase that we did this year, which was budgeted, was replacing the cable cast server. And that was a $35,000 expenditure, and all of that has been ordered and installed. And we're in the process of getting all the cloud-based functions of that set up. And I'll talk about that a little more in just a few minutes. The cable cast server area, the before picture, if you can see that, I know it's kind of small. That's where all the cables kind of came in. It was just a mess. To fish out a cable to figure out where it plugged into, it really was a nightmare. And Kevin and team worked really hard at unplugging everything, rolling it up, labeling things, and after you can see how clean it is. And if you turn that server around, everything is so well designed, well labeled. It's really easy to work in that space now. The control room area, this didn't exist before. Before you see the little blue tape on the wall, that's where we had estimated where we wanted the window, which is what we have back here in this room. Where when you're in production, the person sitting back there controlling everything, they can talk and not disrupt what's happening on the studio floor, and they have headsets. So you can tell a big, huge improvement in that area as well. Also before, this is what it looked like before, everything kind of backed up. And now we actually repurposed the platforms that were in the studio, moved them into the editing, so they're actually about 5 inches up where all the cable can run under that floor. We had a little ramp built there just for easy access and really cleaned up the space. The studio before, they had a blue wall, and that was our typical set design. You can see the risers there have been removed. The one on the right-hand side is the current new studio. We got rid of the blue wall, and that wood feature that you see right here, that is actually on a roller. And so you can drape different color cloths, backdrops on that, and really change up the set. That's something that Jason and our Public Works department built for Kevin, and it's going to be very functional moving forward. Also, before the studio, you could see all the editing or production equipment was right in there, all the cameras. Now that's all been moved away. And Public Works also built us this wall right here. That's a freestanding wall. It's very light. It's screwed into the floor, but it can be moved if needed. These panels that just stick on here can also be replaced with Velcro and other images. So it's going to give us an opportunity to have 3 different set designs in that one studio. So depending on who's there versus always having, you know, the wall and the talking heads, now we can have a living room setup, a bistro setup, and then still an interview style setup. Makes us look a little bit more professional. Also, another thing that we've been talking about for at least a year is changing the name of Telco Village Broadcasting to Telco Village Network. And the reason for this is our capabilities and what we offer now is completely different from what it was when we went from TVB to Channel 193, and we wanted to get away from that because if Charter made a change, it really messed us up. So that's why we chose Telco Village Broadcasting. But with the new cablecast server, you know, we're doing live streaming. We will have our channel. We can still produce to Channel 193. You know, all the monitors that are in the different locations. We actually have our own video on demand. So if you have a Roku TV or Apple TV, you can actually go download the Telco Village Smart app and watch all of our programming. It's all available online. We have a designated channel that we're setting up. So it just gives us more availability to do and be bigger and better. So Telco Village Network, we have a full PR campaign that will be rolling out to publicize all of that, letting people know where to go. We're working on videos to show people how you go download the app, all the different places that you can find Telco Village Network moving forward. Oh, and that's it.
So any
Fast and
questions?
furious.
That's great.
I would just like to say that I really appreciate, Beth, you and your team, your work on this. Kevin Critch is, as you saw him running around, he is the jack of all trades, and he's there, and he's really energized the volunteers that work with Telco Village Network. The space is fabulous. It's just so much more pleasant and more efficient and better to work in. So thanks to everybody who played a role in that. And one of the board goals that I've had the last couple of years is to utilize TVN more for the kinds of things that Beth and her team do, not just information, but marketing and PR and promotions and the live streaming of our meetings, and all of that has been so great during COVID especially. So just wanted to say thanks and kudos to everybody who is involved in this project. It turned out really great.
Thank you very much. And we will be having an open house as soon as we get the set up, and we'll be publicizing that as well when everybody can come in and check out the new space.
Cool.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Beth. Okay, with that, we're going to move to the finance update, and Charlotte Larson is going to present that. Welcome back.
Thank you. Okay, we will start with key non-financial indicators. Starting with year-to-date, assessed lots, 6,527. POA lots sold, 234. We have an inventory remaining of 352. Total lots, paying lots, 6,431, and that's a year-to-date average. Head count, we are looking for currently 7 golf maintenance staff, 3 public works staff, and 1 recreation staff. 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 3 public works staff Moving down to Public Works, property transfers, 812, that's 545 over budget. New home permits, 257. Moving down to golf, we have total rounds, 74,566. That's 20,000, almost 21,000 over budget. Docks are 100% leased with a wait list of 153. RV storage, once again, there were 29 added spaces, and there's a waiting list of 66. And recreation, individual memberships, 565, and family memberships, year-to-date average, 830.
Charlotte, I don't expect an answer right now. I should have asked you earlier, but if you take a look at your assessed lots, up, let's see, let's go down to your total paying lots, up 145. You take a look at your POA lots sold, 186.
Okay.
So you got 41 POA lots that aren't showing up in your total paying lots. Why is it? At a minimum, I understand the change in your suspended collectibles, but at a minimum, your increase ought to be, as long as you're not increasing suspended accounts. If you sell 50 POA lots, your assessments ought to go up 50. So you got a discrepancy there. I'd like to know when you get a chance, shoot me an email.
I will do that. Thank you.
That doesn't have anything to do with the 5-star and the, okay.
'Cause
No,
these are new.
that's assessed lots, yes, that's right.
I'll get back with you, Steve. Thanks.
Charlotte, since we had a break, you mentioned the number of lots sold, and that's on this list, and I don't see, what did you say the remaining inventory is?
352.
Thank you.
Charlotte, I had the opportunity to sit with our Henry Cullen, our commissioner. Sorry. I had the opportunity to sit with our commissioner over the weekend and talk to him about several things. He mentioned that we have, like, I think he said 5,900 people living in the village. And using these numbers that you have here, and I recognize he represents Loudoun County, which doesn't encompass Kahiti, but even if you take those out and whatever, we've always had this number in our head that if we double the number of homes we have, we would come to a number of people in the village. You never see that number anywhere, but I was a little shocked when he said that we only have 5,900 people living in a village. So is there any way that we can get a somewhat accurate number of how many people we have in the village? You don't have to answer now, just think about how you'd come up with that.
Was he citing the census data?
I'm not sure what he was sensing because they're going through the redistricting.
I understand what they're doing.
And so I think he's thinking that we're not going, the redistricting is not going to be that much difference because of the fact that we don't have near as many people here as we think we do. That's what I gathered, so.
Okay.
So anyway, just curious, we've always taken the number forever and ever and said, yeah, we have 4,500 homes here or something like that. And so if you double that, we're up around 9,000. That's a whole lot different than 5,900. So just
Didn't we
something-
change that to 1 3/4 at some point?
We added it various factors, but
Got to speak up.
for the latest, we can use two.
You can get a mic.
Okay.
We have used various factors for, per home over the years that's been generated out of surveys out of long range. But for the last, I'd say 5 to 8 years, we've used a factor of 2 per home. And I would question that 5,900 myself, even after you strip out the Kahiti neighborhood.
Curious as to where our numbers stand.
Okay.
So if you could figure out a way to do that, that would be great.
We'll work on that. Okay.
Good luck.
Before we get into the P and L, I just want to mention operating cash is 4.7 million. Reserves are 8.8 million for a total cash of 13.5 million. Revenue is 16,871,000. Expenses, 12,999,000 for a net income of 3,872,000, and that is favorable over budget by 4,544,000. Going on to the categories of revenue. Assessment revenue continues to grow with the increased number of paying lots. The late fee shortfall in revenue is offset by bad debt expense. Golf revenue up due to rounds significantly over budget. The recreation membership year-to-date, household is up over 2,000, individual up over 1,500. Installed tanks, 11 tank jobs closed this month, or for the month of August. Dock revenue is favorable, as mentioned, with a waiting list of 153. Favorable variance for ACC permits is due to the higher number of new home permits, offset by the minor shortfall in miscellaneous permits. The favorable variance in other revenue is due primarily to administrative service fee. The actual number of transfers, 812 versus the budget of 267. Here's the-
Charlotte, go ahead.
Just for the board to take notice as we get into budget season,